Let's be honest, for so many of us, this is the most intimidating part of the entire IELTS test. Speaking Part 2, the long turn. You get one cue card, just 1 minute to prepare, and then 2 minutes of talking, all by yourself while the examiner just sits there in silence. It's that one moment where your confidence can totally make or break your score. So today, we're going to break it down and master it. And this, right here, this is the absolute heart of it. The examiner isn't just counting your fancy vocabulary words. They're watching you. They're seeing how you handle the pressure, how you handle that silence, and how you manage the clock. It's a test of your composure just as much as it is a test of your English. So before we jump into all the strategies, let's just break down the process itself. Understanding the exact rules of the game is always the first step to winning it. We want no surprises, no uncertainty about what's about to happen. Okay, so here's exactly how it goes down, plain and simple. You get a cue card with a topic. A 1-minute timer starts, that's your prep time. Then you got to speak on that topic for somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes. And here's the kicker. The examiner is completely silent. It's just you, the clock, and whatever notes you scribble down. Your one job is to fill that time with structured, coherent talk. Okay, pay attention because this part is absolutely critical. To do well, you have to know what you're actually being scored on. So let's debunk some of the biggest myths out there, the ones that cause people to freak out and lose precious points. First up, let's talk about what this test isn't about. It has nothing to do with having a perfect memory or some wild, fascinating life story. And honestly, they don't care one bit if your story is 100% true. What they are testing is everything over on the right. Can you keep talking smoothly when you're on the spot? Can you organize your thoughts in a logical way? And of course, is your language, your vocab, grammar, and pronunciation clear and effective? So here it is, the bottom line. If you get a topic about a memorable trip and the only trip you can think of was to the supermarket, just invent a trip to the moon. Your goal here is to show off your language skills, not to give a sworn testimony in court. The only, and I mean only, real way to fail this part is to freeze up. So, how do you make sure you never ever freeze? Well, you use a system, a reliable framework that's going to work for any topic they could possibly throw at you. Now, this isn't some script you memorize. Think of it more like a structural safety net. Let's call it the band saver formula. It all kicks off with that 1 minute of prep time. This minute is pure gold. But seriously, so many people waste it by frantically trying to write out full sentences. You can't. You just don't have time. The goal is way simpler. Just jot down a few key words that are going to act like little signposts for the structure of your talk. So, what is this structure I keep talking about? It's this simple 4-part framework. This is your key to speaking confidently for the full 2 minutes. It gives you a clear path to follow, so you're never left thinking, oh no, what do I say next? You always start here. Part 1 is just a brief introduction. Don't dive straight into the nitty-gritty. Just set the scene. Tell the examiner what you're about to talk about. A couple of strong opening sentences is all you need to get the ball rolling smoothly. Now we're at the core of your talk, the main event. This is where you get into the real story or the description, using those bullet points on the cue card to guide you. You want to be adding some juicy details, maybe a quick, specific example. This is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time. Okay, next up, you add that personal layer. How did you feel about this thing? What's your opinion of it now looking back? This is a fantastic and really easy way to extend your talk naturally while showing off a totally different range of vocabulary. And finally, the wrap up. And please, whatever you do, don't just stop talking when you run out of things to say. Give your talk a proper conclusion. What was the end result, the impact? What did you learn? This gives you a really strong, coherent ending instead of just, okay, so we've got the framework. Now let's see how this actually helps us tackle the biggest fear of all, the clock. How do you manage your time and push past those common anxieties that can creep up in the middle of the test? This is the number one question, isn't it? The fear isn't just about freezing, it's about running out of steam at the 45-second mark and then just rambling, talking in circles. So, how do you add real substance, not just empty filler? Here are three really solid techniques to fill that time with something meaningful. You could talk about the topic in the past, how it relates to you now in the present, and what you think about it in the future. Or you could combine a description with a specific example and then talk about the emotion connected to it. Or explain the reason something happened, the result of it, and then zoom in on one tiny interesting detail. See? Structure fills time. And this chart shows you exactly why that time matters so much. If you speak for less than a minute, you're in the red. That's the danger zone for your fluency score. Why? Because you simply haven't given the examiner enough language to even assess you properly. Your target, the green, the safe zone, is anywhere between a minute and a half and 2 minutes. Yes. The other huge source of panic. What happens if they give you a cue card about your favorite book, but you don't really read? Or a piece of art and you have zero interest in art? What do you do then? Here's the mental switch you need to flip. Your job isn't to be passionate about the topic. It's to be in control of your language. A calm, structured, even kind of boring delivery on a topic you dislike is infinitely better than showing your frustration. It's all about the performance, not your personal preference. And speaking of control, let's just quickly call out these common score-killing mistakes. Examiners can spot a memorized template from a mile away. If you just list answers to the bullet points, you'll sound like a robot. And trying way too hard to use advanced words often just backfires and causes your grammar to completely fall apart. Our framework helps you avoid all of these traps. All right, let's bring it all home by looking at the bigger picture. Because doing really well in part two isn't just about getting a good score for that one section. There's a hidden payoff, a secret link that directly affects the very next and final part of the speaking test. This is the secret weapon that so many people miss. The questions in part three are almost always based on the exact same topic you just spent 2 minutes talking about. So, when you deliver a strong, confident part two, your brain is already warmed up. You're in the zone. And that makes answering the trickier questions in part three so much smoother and more impressive. So, let's end right where we started. I want you to remember this. Burn it into your brain. The topic on that card, it's just a vehicle. It's an excuse to get you talking. The real test is whether you can stay in control, structure your thoughts, and keep your cool when the pressure is on. It's a test of your calm. And that is the crucial point, isn't it? Calm isn't something you just hope for. It's a skill you can train. By practicing this framework, by timing yourself, by learning to trust your structure, you're not just practicing English, you are actively training your composure for test day. So the only question left is, how are you going to start?